what's going on, guys? Eagle Talks Football. I'm back again with another video. Today, I'm kind of doing a little different show because there's no football this weekend from the Premier League. We're going to be doing a Manchester United versus Manchester City FA Cup final preview. And I got a great panel for you guys. As you guys know, my guy Hamza is going to be running a little late, but we got an astute panel for you guys. We got my guy Staffy in the building representing Manchester United, and Usman's going to be joining him. As you can see, he's going to bring the smoke today. And we got my guy Daps in the building.
Do you know what? I knew it was Usman. Usman, why are you looking so clean now?
I got a trim, man. What was
I was thinking, do you know what it was? Right, real talk backstage, yeah? I recognised your voice, right? But you look so different that I didn't want to say Usman and then get, what? All Asians look the same or something, yeah? So I didn't say it. But I was thinking, bro, you look mad different, you know?
Okay, hopefully in a good way.
You look all clean and fresh in that.
Yeah, I got trimmed today, man. Listen, the guy gave me the call.
With these corporate roles and that you're doing, all this corporate work you're doing and that. I get it. It
is right. Listen, when a gal gives you that call, you need to look good, man. But listen, make sure everyone's slapping a like on the video and subscribe. This is going to be an absolute banger.
There you go. Hamza's supposed to take this seat, but I'll just take it for now to make the show work. But as you guys know, it's a big weekend, FA Cup. As you guys know, I love the FA Cup because I've seen my team win it so many times recently. It just brings me good memories. But
do you not like the league then?
Bro, it's not the league. It's more European games. Those are the ones that piss me off. Yeah. But let's get into this right here. How you guys? First things first. What are your memories of your teams in FA Cup? Like, what's the first thing that sticks out? Daps, I'll start with you.
My first ever game was in the FA Cup.
Is it?
It was Barnsley, and there was a pitch invader.
Wow.
I can't remember. I've always tried and work out what year it was. I think it was about 90, probably about 92 or 93 or something like that. But I always remember there's a pitch invader. That's and then other than that, my most recent was being at the Watford game. That was nice. The Wigan game, that will always stick in my head. The fact that Wigan got relegated that season, and I think Mancini got sacked before the game or something like that, or told that he was leaving. And then the other one, which I think I always see as probably the most important game in City's history, is the Man United semi-final where Yaya scored, because that took us up like that. That for me was us beating Man United on neutral territory and showing, right, there's a pendulum shift. And then the next season is where we went to Old Trafford, beat them 6-1 and then won the league. And I always say, like, I've always said this, for me, before any team can think about winning a league, they need to go and win a trophy as a squad, as a group of players. And like United have done that this season, right? A new group of players, they've gone and won, and I think that's the first thing anyone needs to do. It gives them that taste of trophies, and yeah, man, they're my memories.
There you go, Usman. I was going to come to you next, but just to let you know, your mic is kind of bringing up.
Okay, one second.
So when you're not speaking, maybe just mute it. But right now, I'm going to come to you. Oh, she jumped up. Are you still there?
Yeah, sorry, it's my phone. Let me just quickly think. I'll come back.
No worries. Take your time. Staffy, I'm going to jump to you then. What's your earliest memory of the FA Cup? Or like, when you think of the FA Cup, what game do you think of, or what moment do you think of? And please don't say Ryan Giggs.
No, I'm not that old, unfortunately. What? You think I was watching football? And I think I was 4 that year. So
no, I was like 10. That's what I said.
No. So for me, honestly, I don't have a lot of good memories of the FA Cup, because when you look at it historically, Man United have won the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal, but like, we just don't win a lot of FA Cups. This is why I actually love the FA Cup, because I feel like that's the one, growing up, that was the one trophy I didn't really see my team win a lot. You know, the first FA Cup final, I believe, if I'm not wrong, it was 2006, 2007 that I watched. We lost to Chelsea. I believe it was 1-0. Drogba scored against us.
Scored,
yeah. Was that the right year? See, like, bro, I didn't even do no research. It's just like it sits back in my memory like that. And we haven't been doing well in the FA Cup except for that 1 year under Louis van Gaal. So that was honestly one of my favorite seasons, just because I finally got to see my team win that one trophy that I've never experienced. And I really hope we win it tomorrow, you know, bro. I mean, Manchester Derby in the final, you know, the last time I believe we played them in the FA Cup was, if I'm not wrong, it was that Tevez year, and we played them in the FA Cup semi-final, or was that the League Cup? I could be wrong about that.
We've got you in the League Cup quite a few times. We've got you in the League Cup
You know what? It could be the League Cup because it was a home and away.
I can't remember.
And we beat you.
It would have been. I can't remember when we last played during the FA Cup. League Cup, we seemed to draw
League
each
Cup,
other
yeah,
quite
they
a lot.
beat us last under Oli as well, didn't they?
We played you guys with
yeah.
Ole as well, and you guys beat us on aggregate, something like that. But yeah, big game, bro. I really hope we win it. I have that special connection with the FA Cup where, like, as I said, we don't win it a lot, and I really love that tournament. Like, people were asking me at the beginning of the season, would you rather win the Europa League or the FA Cup? I don't know. I just think the FA Cup is much prestigious. I didn't grow up in England, so like I don't have these memories like probably like these City fans and United fans that could tell you. But for me, I really hope we win it, bro.
Do you know what? That's different though. That's a different view because I find, and one thing that pisses me off a bit with some of the City fans that are based abroad is that they're so almost disrespectful to anything domestic. Like, they're so obsessed with the Champions League. Like, and don't get me wrong, this season more than ever, I've always said league over Champions League, but this season I can tell you now is probably because I'm bored of hearing about the fact we haven't won it yet, but also it just feels a bit different. And I'm obviously, it's going to be really awkward if I say I'm falling in love with the Champions League and then we don't win it. But this season, the Champions League is feeling different, but same way. Like when people don't care from abroad, don't care about, especially the FA Cup, because the FA Cup is something that in this country, everyone tries to,
Disrespect.
But everyone's trying to, like, especially the old school, like, they're still trying to keep that special side of the FA Cup. Because I'll be honest, over recent years, it does feel slightly like the League Cup and FA Cup are getting far closer to each other than they ever used to be. They used to be distances away. Like, the League Cup was a nothingness and the FA Cup was prestigious at the end. I think it's good this season as well, because last season, I didn't like how the FA Cup was played before the league had finished. Whereas usually...
That was weird, yeah.
I like that they changed it, yeah.
Yeah, I like this. It's changed back to how it should be at the end of the season. And look, it does feel, I'm not going to lie, it does feel different this season, the fact that either way, no matter what, the trophy is going back up the M1 and the M6. It's going to end up in Manchester.
You know what? And no one can criticize you guys because the World Cup was going to be used as an excuse for anyone who lost trophies. But you guys are potentially could get all three. So, Usman, what are you saying? Should we just jump into the next topic after this? But you ended off. What are you saying?
Just obviously to add to on top of that. So, I mean, I think the FA Cup gets a lot of disrespect. Of course, Arsenal are the main holders. I'm sure Gal is happy to hear that one. But look, the FA Cup has always been the most prestigious trophy in England. Obviously, the league is your bread and butter, of course. But growing up in this country when the FA Cup, I just remember, all the moments throughout the years. Obviously, all the giant killings. That's what it's all about. And obviously, Manchester City was a big part of those giant killings. The team doing the giant killing was Man City in those days. But of course, times have changed now. But look, my personal favorite moment, obviously, I'm not going to say the Giggs one. I mean, that is the most iconic United FA Cup moment, realistically speaking. I'm just going to use a most recent one, which is Jesse Lingard winner against Crystal Palace. I mean, that goal was absolutely outrageous. Rocket and arrow into the top bins, and it was beautiful because Pardew was dancing. And that was the season where every time someone danced against United on touchline, they got smacked up. So yeah, that was an absolutely stunning moment. But listen, big game tomorrow. Manchester derby, FA Cup settings. I'm excited. I'm nervous, but I'm excited as well.
I love the energy, guys. Now let's just bring the energy. Daps, you're gonna need to pay attention for this one because Usman had a little.
I always pay attention.
No, this is interesting. Take this in.
Manchester United v Manchester City combined 11. Let's go. As you can see, 4 Manchester United players make it, and I'm going to explain exactly why. For me, this is probably one of the easiest decisions. Martinez 100% gets in the team. I know people are going to say John Stone's been robbed. I couldn't care less. Martinez has been absolutely exceptional all season. Second one is Luke Shaw. Man City don't have a recognised left back, and Luke Shaw for me is better than Aki. I don't care what anyone says. Luke Shaw is clear of him. Into the midfield, of course, Roddy has been a sensational, but for me, Casemiro has shown time and time again why he's the best DM in the world. There's a reason why he's got 5 Champions Leagues. Last but not least, Marcus Rashford gets in over Grealish. I'm sorry, anyone saying Grealish is reactionary and absolutely embarrassing. The guy did out nothing prior to the World Cup. He was absolute dead food. Yes, he's finished the season fantastically well, and I give him props, but Rashford has been sensational throughout most of the season and deserves his plaudits. Let me know what you agree with and disagree with, and follow for more.
I think that was the best way to segment into the actual game.
You're right. You seem a bit pissed
When
off
did you do that?
He did it yesterday.
It's earlier today, to be fair. I think
earlier today.
This one, do you drink?
No, I'm Muslim, brother. I don't drink, man. Don't worry, man.
What's the excuse to putting that team together? Because there's no way.
Wait, you disagree with the team too.
Of course, that's why I made that joke. There's no way you're putting.
What do you disagree with?
You can't. Go ahead.
Right. So you sent
That's
back.
not
Right. So here's my thing. You put Martinez in there, did you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, Martinez, I think Martinez has had a good first season, right? But that's it. He hasn't for me been as good as people make out. I think he's had a very good first season, but if we're talking, he ain't had a good first season like Ruben Diaz had when Ruben Diaz landed. That was an amazing first season, right? Martinez, I think, will be a pivotal player for Ten Hag moving forward. But this season, he's not making my best Premier League back four. To me, he's not even in the conversation for best Premier League back four. I'd have Ruben in. I'd probably, if I had to take a United centre-back, I'd probably take Varane over Martinez overall across the season. But I'll be going with Stones and Diaz. On the right, I probably wouldn't have Walker, I probably might have Wan-Bissaka, to be fair.
I think I messed up with Mahrez. I forgot about Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, I was going to say Mahrez wouldn't be in it this season. Mahrez hasn't been.
I was trying to work out who put when you're out wing. I forgot about
Bernardo. The two hardest ones on the pitch for me, by far and away, are Rashford and Grealish. Because I think Grealish has had a solid season. He's just, people have really paid attention to him once City have got better. Grealish has been consistent throughout the whole season, but the rest of the team around him hasn't been. And now that the rest of the team's cooking, is making Grealish look even better. But Grealish has been good. But the same with Rashford. When we did our team of the season on DR Sports, I think we ended up putting Haaland, Rashford and Saka as our front three. And it was because realistically, they are the three that everyone is going to say. For one or another, at some point this season, all three of them have been in conversations as in best player in the league and whatever. So, but the biggest one for me is Rodri and Casemiro. I don't want to disrespect Casemiro because I think Casemiro is an unbelievable player. And for me, for United to have any chance tomorrow, you need Casemiro to turn up and have a 9 out of 10 plus game, right? Otherwise, I can't see it without him. But Rodri is my City player of the season this season. Like, I'm not Haaland, it's Rodri. And even Haaland's come out and said he's the glue. Without him, and the minute Rodri don't play, we look like a different team. So, look, the Shaw Ake one, I think Shaw's done all right this season. He's come in playing centre-back, playing on the left as well, so done a good job. But again, I think Ake's in our top three players this season as well. Haaland, Ake and Rodri are our top three players. I think Ake's been phenomenal. Season. The only thing I would say is, in the last, ignore the Brighton and Brentford games, but in our run-in, when Ake got injured and Akanji stepped in at left-back, Akanji has done an equally good job, and it kind of would, I'm not trying to discredit Ake because I think Ake's been unbelievable, but the thing with Ake and Akanji is they've both switched about across the back, and both of them have actually done equally as good jobs. So look, I'm not mad at it. The one is, for me, any team of the season. I know, Ilkay, you did one yesterday and Rodri wasn't in it as well, so you can't talk.
Listen, I had Rodri in it. What happened was Kendo had Rodri, I had Rodri, and it became a situation where it was just a tie. So I'm like, you know what? Just give it to Casemiro and we keep it moving.
Here's how I'm looking at it. When you look at this team, it's mainly like this. And as I mentioned, United fan, I could still admit this. You're looking at a combined 11. City is the better team. So you're more as of looking at it. Who from this United team can get into that City team? That's really how you should be looking at it. And you don't take out Rodri at all. And as much as I love Casemiro, I promise you, if you would have given Ten Hag in the beginning of the season the chance to have Rodri over Casemiro, the way that Ten Hag likes to play, he would have picked Rodri himself. So this is not a diss about Casemiro for who he is, because we all know he's a great player. But when you make a combined 11 like that, looking at how both managers like to play, Rodri would be the first name probably on that sheet.
Do you know what? I think that's. I've always said this to Arsenal fans that with the whole party Rodri conversation, City literally had the choice.
Yeah.
Remember, they could have bought Partey if they wanted. They bought Rodri. There's a reason why they bought Rodri over Partey, because they were both there at Atletico Madrid to buy, and we went in for Rodri, not Partey. So
But I also think any player who joins a Pep team goes 2 levels up to what their potential is.
If you put Casemiro in that City team and you do a swap, Casemiro wouldn't do the best job that Rodri did
I
there.
completely
And
disagree.
Rodri also would kind of
Wouldn't
like
suit.
be lost.
Casemiro wouldn't suit Pep's
No,
style.
but that's
No,
not
Exactly.
I don't
the
agree with
conversation
that.
I'm having is Pep improves players so much that what's to say you give Lindelof to Pep, you see a much better Lindelof. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but Lindelof is similar to like an Akanji and them. He actually wouldn't be a bad Pep player, which is why I don't mind Martinez being in that team. Because a lot of people, you know what? Yeah, I thought about this. A lot of people talk about his height or whatever, and then like, you know, defenders shouldn't be that short. People forget that Pep himself, when he went to Barcelona, if you remember, he signed Mascherano. And Mascherano was 5'9", I think. So it's like an inch shorter than Martinez, and he played him in defense, which shows you that Pep always went for these type of defenders that are good on the ball, regardless of their height, because football is played with your feet. It's not really played with your height, you know. So Lisandro fits. I believe Lisandro fits in any team that Pep builds, just because of the profile of player he is. That's the last thing that I object about in the team that Usman made. The one thing that I really was against was just like the Casemiro and Rodri thing.
Yeah.
But Lisandro, he's a serious shot in this team.
But the Casemiro thing is absolutely hilarious to me. Like, obviously, he's world class. There's no denying that, and he's been absolutely sensational. As Dap said, he's been extremely influential in anything good that Man City done. But listen, Casemiro for me has been the best DM in the last 5 years, without a shadow of a doubt. In the
Yeah,
world,
but he's only been at your club for one.
not in the world. I'm not about just Man United, but I'm not about in general life. I mean, I think you guys have you've said that he wouldn't suit a possession-based team. He literally played with Toni Kroos and Luka Modric, and he was
There we go.
There we
go. There's a prime example. It's them doing the possession.
But let me finish. He was extremely integral in everything good that Real Madrid achieved. They literally did the 3-peat Champions League. I mean, it's literally unheard of. He was essentially the linchpin to that. And the notion that he can't play in a Man City team who've got, I'm not saying that on Modric and Kroos's level, but Kevin De Bruyne is arguably one of the greatest midfielders we've ever seen. So, and you've got Gündoğan there or whoever else you wish to play. He could easily sit in there and do the exact same role that he did for Real Madrid.
Couldn't do the same role. He couldn't do the same role. Come on, man. He's not the same. He's not right. At no
it's
point.
Not the same exactly.
Hold on. At
I'm
no point.
Dismiss his ability.
No one's hold on. I'm not dismissing his ability. I'm not dismissing his leader. I'm not dismissing his ability to read the game and have himself in the right place. But Pep went for a player like Rodri because that's the type of player Pep wants. At no point in Casemiro's career has Casemiro been or has shown signs of being that type of player. He's just not that type of player. He's a different type of player, which is fine. Casemiro actually on paper is more my type of player because I like a destroyer. For me, Casemiro is a destroyer that actually has other abilities. They're not his strongest abilities, but he has other abilities. Whereas a lot of destroyers, like Nigel de Jong, for example, he was a destroyer. That was it. Yeah, he couldn't do nothing else. Whereas Casemiro can drive forward. Whereas De Jong, I couldn't ever see doing that. I just think Rodri's role is just to literally control the pace of the game, recycle the ball. It's not what Casemiro does. And I'm not discrediting Casemiro at all. Like, trust me, I get it. The accolades speak for themselves.
Let me stop you guys.
They're two different DMs.
Let me stop you guys for a second. Let me just bring in the teams and actually have the teams on the table so everyone can see them. Hopefully you guys can see the teams right there. So that is the actual teams, Man City's team that's been selected by Foot Mob, and the Manchester United team that's been selected by Foot Mob. So I was just going to get you guys to go through the teams and let me know what you guys disagree with and agree with.
Eriksen's not starting tomorrow. I'll tell you that for free.
Okay.
Well, you don't think now get overrun?
Go through your team. Just go through your team, Staffy.
I think Eriksen does start tomorrow, but Staffy, you go first. That's fine.
So I'm just looking at the Man United team. I expect everything right here except for Eriksen, because he would get overrun easily in that midfield. Like, he's gonna get eaten alive, and we've already tried that in the first game when we lost 6-3, and we saw how ineffective Eriksen is when you play a team that's gonna keep more of the ball. We've seen it against Brighton. We've seen it against Arsenal. Every team that plays against us and they keep the ball, he gets overran. Now, that doesn't take away from who he is as a player, but we need to have some possession to have him in there because he's more of a final third player anyways. He progresses the ball well, but you need to have the ball in your feet. When you have him just running around, he's not physical for that role. Everything else on that team, I agree with.
What do you think? You go with Fred instead of Eriksen?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, Fred has to start because Fred and Casemiro tomorrow are going to play like 2 6s. These guys, listen, it's going to come down to them and how Bruno does in that midfield and how close he stays to that midfield, because they're going to do a lot of tracking back to who's linking up with Grealish on the side. So like I know Aki and Walker are center backs technically in a back three, but they're going to be up high up the pitch a lot. So these guys are going to be like the glue between Bissaka and the wingers that are running there, and Luke Shaw and the wingers that are running there. We've beaten City before with playing our 2 8s or 2 6s as like they were just marking whoever was like overlapping and just filling in the holes between the center backs and our fullbacks. And this is going to be their job tomorrow. And I see Fred doing that. Fred did that on De Bruyne when we beat you guys at Old Trafford. He just stayed on De Bruyne the whole game. And we're going to need the same thing tomorrow, in addition to Gundogan being there. So it's going to be a tough test for those two, and I don't see Eriksen starting. Garnacho and Sancho have to start because we don't have Anthony, and Martial's not starting. So Rashford has to be the striker, and Garnacho has to come in. I'm not happy about that.
No way cost.
Please, let's not even say his name.
Let me just look at the injuries quickly because I'm not familiar with the injuries. Akanji's injured? What?
So, I heard Edison is not playing.
Edison. Yeah, Pep said Edison won't play. Ortega's played, I think, all of the games in the FA Cup, and we haven't conceded a goal in the FA Cup. So there's no way that Pep will
take him. Out.
This is the whole thing: is keeping everyone happy, everyone knowing they're part of a squad. So yeah, it will be Ortega, which is great. Ortega's a good shot stopper. He's not as good or as comfortable with his feet, but that's fine.
What about the rest of the team? Because I think this is your best 11.
I mean, the hardest one is Ake or Akanji. Ake started against Brentford, and I was quite happy with him. For his first game back, I thought he played quite well. But Akanji's done a great job, so I wouldn't guarantee that Ake starts over Akanji, I mean,
what about Kyle Walker?
Although Akanji, but no, you are right, because I have seen this week Akanji, Diaz, De Bruyne and Grealish, Pep all said had minor fitness issues. With Grealish, that's because he's been on the pit. He didn't travel for the last 2 games because he's been on the piss. He's fine. De Bruyne, we saw no knocks, so he's fine. You know what? Akanji maybe after the Brentford game or something said I don't know, but the Akanji Ake one I'm not too sure on. The only other one I could see maybe is I could see him. You could see Foden start, and you could see, or you could see Mahrez start, just because this isn't the Champions League final, and I think there is going to be an element, a very little element of Pep wanting this to be a squad thing, because you got to remember we travelled to Istanbul, right? This squad has done this together. There's no 11 players. The squad has done it together. So he might want to keep a few members of the squad happy because as a travelling group, you want everyone happy as a squad. And if you look at it, Bernardo, we're going to need him against Inter Milan. We're going to really, really need him against Inter Milan. So he might go, you know what, Mahrez start, give you something to think about, might say Foden. So look, this is Pep roulette, isn't it?
I don't think you're going to Pep roulette the second last game of the season.
Won't Pep. I don't think we'll Pep roulette.
Basically, Pep roulette means like 5 changes sometimes.
The thing is, it doesn't even matter who he starts. I mean, look at the players that he mentioned: Mahrez, Bernardo, Foden. They're all flipping top quality players, man. Just take your pick, essentially. They're all gonna cause damage either way, man. It's not.
I know this is just how you've placed it, but when your eyes see an image and all of a sudden all they can see is one thing, yeah. Has anyone noticed looking at those? No, zoom it. Yeah, it's fine like that either way. However it is, can you lot see the arrows?
Yeah. It's leading to my nice goal. Fantastic.
Oh my!
Oh, stop.
What was that?
I have no idea what that
was. But yeah, can you see that? That's mad.
Yeah. I just noticed the arrow leading towards your goal.
Literally every arrow, everything is pointing at Man United's goal.
Subliminal messages and that. Yeah,
bro, that's hilarious. I never noticed.
I see what you do, but
sorry, anyone listening to this.
Oh God, sorry, we do apologize about that. I don't know what happened there. But listen, regarding Staffy, what he said, although what he said is fair, I mean, I think Garnacho is better off the bench personally. I don't think Garnacho should start this game. I mean, you saw in the game that we did end up beating City 2-1. Garnacho was the difference off the bench. I mean, we've got literally no options off the bench. Who's going to come on and change the legs, change the game, when the legs have become a bit tired. We know Man City got a lot of quality and depth. They're going to have the opportunity to bring players on, 60 minutes if the game is still close, etc. We need to have that option as well. I, for one, I'm just a bit worried. We have literally no one apart from the starting 11, and for me, the starting 11 that I'm going to pick isn't really good enough realistically to beat City. It's just a matter of we disrupt their rhythm, make it difficult for them, similar to what Newcastle did at Arsenal. Just basically the dark arts. It's not going to be a pretty game from a United perspective. If I'm Eric Ten Hag, I'm just putting bodies into the midfield and packing the midfield, not for the sake of starting attacks necessarily, but just to disrupt them as much as we possibly can and make it difficult for them to play. It's a shame Martial's not available. I know he's not had a great season, but I think he's extremely important to United in these kind of games. He has a very good track record against Man City as well, actually, to be fair. I think he's scored in the last 4 or 5 games against them. But just in general, his hold-up play would have helped us. But that aside, I think what he's going to do is he's probably going to play Bruno on the right, which is a massive mistake because he's shocking on the right. So he's probably going to play Bruno on the right wing, and he's going to play a midfield 3 of Eriksen, Fred, and Casemiro with Sancho on the left wing. So basically saying to Man City, come break us down. We're going to try to hit you on the break. Hopefully get Rashford in behind on the odd chance and just capitalise from that. I mean, it's going to be very much Route 1 football and hope for the best. I mean, what Staffy said was correct. Eriksen in these games, he definitely doesn't suit these kind of games because he hasn't got the legs. We know Man City are going to dominate the ball. We know Man City are basically just going to tire us out, essentially. We're going to be chasing shadows for a lot of the game, and Eriksen isn't the kind of player that you'd want on the pitch in that scenario. But what I will say on the flip side is, if you don't have an Eriksen on the pitch and you've got a midfield of Fred and Casemiro, who hits that pass from deep to get us up the pitch, who hits that pass in the channels that eventually gets one through or potentially gets one through. I don't think Fred has
can't Casemiro do what Rodri does?
I mean,
Casemiro actually does that. He's hit a few long passes this season.
Casemiro has got that in his locker, but obviously I'm talking about Eriksen. That's his bread and butter, essentially, isn't it? And with what we've agreed with earlier, you're bringing very cheeky dubs. And what we agreed earlier, obviously, Casemiro, he's there to destroy and obviously disrupt the players much more.
And can I just say, that's what he did in the game at Old Trafford. There was one or two. That's why I spoke on his positioning. There was a few times in the second game, the one at Old Trafford, that as a City fan, I was going, that's got to be a foul. But when I saw him back, it was like, and if it went against me, I would have seen it as very, very weak. But what Casemiro knows how to do is be in the right place and break up play. Exactly what you said. That is for me, Casemiro's role tomorrow is exactly as you just said to frustrate the hell out of us.
I mean, basically, the way I see it is Manchester City are a well-oiled machine. We know that. I mean, they haven't got any chink in the armor. Manchester United quite clearly have got a lot of chinks in our armor. The only way we can eventually, essentially beat them is by slowing them down. Obviously, when a well-oiled machine gets going and is in their flow, we've lost the game, essentially. We haven't got a chance against them. We need to make sure we're disrupting the play consistently so they don't gain any rhythm. I mean, you saw that at Old Trafford. It wasn't a great game from both teams. I mean, I was at the game myself. We didn't particularly play well. I know we won, but we were a bit fortunate with the Bruno goal. I don't think anyone's going to deny that. But the game as a whole, Man City didn't play well. Manchester United didn't particularly play well either. It was very much a nothing game, and a lot of that was down to the fact that we made it difficult for them to find their rhythm. To be fair, when we played them, City weren't really, singing at the best hymn sheet, but we were making it extremely difficult for them as well to find rhythm. We were breaking up the play a lot. We were, making it difficult to play their triangles, play the kind of football, and that's the only way we win this game, essentially. Like, if Man City get going, it's a wrap.
But do you know what it was?
Steps. I just wanted to quickly talk about transfers, and then we can come back to predictions.
Sorry, can I just finish on this before we move on? Otherwise, I'll forget it real quick. What you said there, you're right, because at that point of the season, we were going through this stage where, because when we played you, it wasn't long after we'd lost to Tottenham, right, at their ground. and we'd even beat Tottenham at our ground where we were 2-0 down at first half. And the way we seemed to be going at that point, I think we hadn't gone of a run of more than 3 games on the belt. And it seemed like what Pep was saying is just get through the first half against every team. Just get through the first half. And then in the second half, we go, right, now let's up the level and start playing how we used to. And that second game, we started to do that. Not with the confidence but in the second half, we started to do that. Now, I'll say the same against tomorrow, about tomorrow. We can't be doing that in the second half. For Manchester City to win tomorrow, for me, we have to get an early goal. We have to do what we usually do when we win derbies, is an early goal or an early second. Because if it gets into the second half and we haven't taken the lead, then that is where, for me going into tomorrow, I'll be brutally honest with you. And by the way, yesterday I was uber confident. Day before uber confident. The derby nerves have kicked in this evening. I'm going to be completely honest with you. They have.
Same,
right?
same,
I always know
exactly.
it kicks in. I can be mad confident, but it's usually the morning of. But probably because it's the FA Cup, they've kicked in tonight, and I am a bit nervous. I've been speaking to a few other City fans, and they're the same. They're saying, you know what, the best City turn up and smack United, but I'm nervous because it's them lot and it's a cup final. But we have to turn up from the first minute. We can't be taking it into the second half, because the second half is when it's a shootout. Ultimately, anyone can win it. If it's a draw going into the second half.
I highly agree with you, because to me, it's the other way around. I'm saying we have a chance to win this if City don't score early. So that just proves that we're thinking the same way. The longer the game stays 0-0, I favor our chances. Whereas like City, I feel like the longer they wait, they get a little bit more frustrated. Yeah, you know, I mean, they have options off the bench, which kind of like it works in their favor. But City, especially in those derbies, if they don't get these early goals, that's how you guys beat a 6. You put 3 passes in like 20 minutes.
And that's what Nobbins just said on Football Terrace with you. And he was spot on with what he said, that this game and the Inter game are very similar. Both of them could end up 3-4-0 to City.
Definitely.
But there's also a chance they could end up 1-0 to the other team. I don't think United are going to beat City 2-0 or 3-1 or nothing like that. But if United do have a chance, it's with getting into the second half without City conceding, and then Rashford popping up in the 75th minute or something, and
But I think we're getting too much into predictions. I want to save that for a little bit later. But when it comes to,
you won't get a prediction out of me.
I don't need a prediction. I just know about your confidence that you're quite confident, right? But let me just stop this right here. I want to talk about Mason Mount, this guy right here. And I know you don't want to talk about.
Why are we doing this, Sigal? We're talking about the final. Look at this man's face. Look at my face. Why are you doing that to us?
Understand.
Gala, have you seen my tweets? I hate
understand.
Sorry, I don't hate. But
I'm a fan,
Understand that Mason Mount is not a bad player. Like you guys are doing this thing where it's like he improves Manchester United. He improves majority of teams. This guy signing for your club is not a negative for your club. You're signing a quality player. Yes, he's English and you're paying over the odds, but because he's English, you're also that's gonna mean another less player you need to worry about for the English quota. You're basically replacing Harry Maguire out of the team, and you need somebody else that's English, and you're getting him in. But he is a quality player. He's an improvement on Eriksen. He's an improvement on Fred. He's an improvement on all these other midfielders you have, rather than except for Bruno and Casemiro. And he's not a level raiser, but you might be surprised. Similar to how we viewed Ramsdale and Ben White when they came into the team and were quite upset. He might turn you around.
Do you know what? I think to United fans, I think unfortunately for Mason Mount, he's become the victim of how shit Chelsea's fan base is, right? And that Chelsea's fan base is so divided, right? And it's shit. Do you know what? Chelsea's fan base is sad. Deep down, that it's a reflection of this country in particular, right? That it has become, all the lot that, if you were to break it down, all the lot that rate Mason Mount are predominantly old school Chelsea English boys, right? And it seems like everyone else that are against him are from abroad, right? And it's become this divide, and it's become about, like, I had a comment when I said, do you know what, I rate Mason Mount on a show yesterday, and someone commented, what a surprise, Daps is a fan of a posh white guy with blonde hair. Now, listen, I ain't never dated a blonde girl in my life. I've got a certain flavour of females, and they're definitely not white blonde girls, right? So all of that, my daughter is mixed race, so all of that crap, but that is what is going on It's a reflection of this country. Now, if we get into football and Mason Mount, for me, when Chelsea, I want to say when Chelsea were at their worst, he was one of their best players. But actually, this season, they've been at their worst. But before, when Chelsea won the Champions League, Mason Mount was one of their standout players. Yeah. Love. I actually think Mason Mount is a very, very good player. And I think he could blossom at City or Liverpool. At Man United or Liverpool. And I will say, if City went in right now, if Pep said we're in for Mason Mount, I wouldn't be mad. I would not be mad. I'd think,
but that's because you got Kevin De Bruyne. That's why.
No, it's because we got Pep, and I think Pep's seen something in him. So I'm pretty confident that both of you rate Ten Hag as a manager, right? You should rate Ten Hag as a manager. You watch his interviews. The guy knows football from when he talks straight after games with Sky Sports. Watching the way he talks, he knows football. Now, if Ten Hag has said, "Do you know what? I think this guy would be good for us." I believe this guy would be good for us. Sorry, I need to go and get my daughter some food quickly.
No worries. Let them talk about.
Staffy, let me go first.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you want to go first, go ahead.
Yeah, bro, please. Listen, when I first heard the news, bro, I was absolutely raging. I've not been this angry in a while. When we've been linked to a player. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for it. The first one being his price tag. I mean, it's absolutely embarrassing. Todd Bowley is the most shameless man that I've ever known. He said with chest that Chelsea are going to beat Real Madrid 3-0. This guy hasn't got a clue what he's talking about when it comes to football. And now he's saying Mason Mount, 85 million bloody euros. 85 million.
He's worth like 40, right?
He's got 1 year left on his contract, and I said it before and I'll say it again. He wasn't worth 85 million euros when he was banging in goals and doing a madness. Bro, he's never been close to that price. The max for Mason Mount was 70 million, and that was at his peak. The guy's got the audacity to ask for 85 million. The guy doesn't even want to stay at Chelsea. He's rejected a contract because you're a shit team in 12, and now you're trying to get rid of him, which is fair enough. But why are you asking for stupid money? I mean, the guy is worth about 45 million max. I mean, I know people probably won't agree. Okay, maybe you can say English tax 50 million, whatever. I'm not anything more than 50 million. I know he said 55 million, but anything more than 50 million, we're getting our pants pulled down. I mean, Liverpool got Thiago Alcantara for 35 million.
20.
I mean, they're getting Agate for. Chelsea are basically getting rid of Mount and bringing in Cancelo and Agate. Like, I mean, with the same money, essentially. I mean, we're getting mugged off royally here, and it's absolutely embarrassing, the money, firstly. In terms of ability, okay, I've calmed down a bit. I've done a bit of research. I've I've looked into what Ten Hag will do with him. He's going to play in the advanced A. Yeah, he probably does suit that position well. But for me, I didn't want that kind of player. I wanted someone that's good on the ball. I mean, I don't massively rate Bruno Fernandes's ball retention. I've gone on record on numerous occasions on many platforms criticizing Bruno's inability to control the game of football. Although Mason Mount is definitely superior in terms of his ball retention, a lot of his ball retention ability is sideways, backwards. I mean, is uninspiring. He's not the creative midfielder that I personally think we need. Look, he's a good player. Yes, he's a workhorse. Yes, he'll help us win the ball further up the pitch. Yes, he'll improve us off the ball. There's absolutely no dispute in that. And of course, he'll do a job, but Jesse Lingard could have done that job. That's the way I see it. I mean,
come on, bro.
He's better than Lingard. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying Lingard could have done a similar job. Like, Lingard could have run off the ball. He could have linked attack. He could have done X, Y, Z. He's got goals in his locker.
Let's see if Staffy's as harsh as you are. Staffy,
I agree with Usman on everything. Every tweet he sent out, I was probably the first one to like it.
Listen, I think he'll do a job for us, and I think he'll actually be a good signing potentially. But he's not the kind of player that I wanted, man. I wanted a Thiago Alcantara kind of player, man. That the guy that's going to get on the ball, first phase.
What, be injured all the time?
No, not him, as in his player profile. But like, I wanted basically.
He's the profile of player, bro.
I wanted Cancelo, man. Cancelo the guy, man. First base midfielder, and Mount isn't that. But listen, Ten Hag doesn't want to play with first phase midfielders.
I'm telling you, you are going to be singing his praises.
No. Listen, bro. Listen, everything Usman said was like on point, bro. Because when you look at our midfield already, Casemiro, Bruno, and then your homie Mount, this midfield is so imbalanced, bro. You have three players that don't know how to control a game. These guys all play the game at a quick pace, especially Bruno. His ball retention is shit. Okay, I get it.
I
get
agree
that
with
Mount.
that, actually.
Mount, listen, Mount is more of a tactical player than a technical player. Whereas, like, you tell him, listen, this is what I need from you in the next 90 minutes, and he'll do it. However, I cannot have 2 8s that the first thing they do when they get the ball is to think, how can I shoot or how can I hit a long pass? These guys are not good under pressure. These guys don't know how to pass the ball around and control a game. When you have two players like that, that's so imbalanced. Now,
I've never thought of it like that. You actually, with that, you are spot on. That when
because when you put who's around him, now it makes more sense. And this is what Usman said when
they are 2 8s.
That play the same way, and he's a B-Tech Bruno, really, because Bruno is better technical than him, and he does what Bruno does just on a worse level. And then just like the way I'm questioning it is as like we were going after De Jong last summer. We know the profile of player De Jong is. Now we couldn't get De Jong. We settled for Eriksen, who's a similar De Jong, but just like on a lower level. And he's older than him. He's like 31, so he can't do it at the same level that De Jong does. But he's the same idea of a midfielder. Now you completely shift from that and you go to Mount. Now he's overpriced. We know that. When you told me he'll replace Fred or whatever, he's better than them. This guy's not coming to sit on our bench. If you told me he's 30, 40 million, he's going to sit on your bench, I'll be like, you know what? Yeah, he's better than Fred. He's better than McTominay. I'll take him. But he's not. He's going to come in and start. Is he the same profile as De Jong was? No, he wasn't. Okay. So this has to make me question my manager because I support Ten Hag. I'm one of Ten Hag's biggest supporters. I go on every show almost fucking twerking for him because of how much I rate him as a manager. But then when you look at it, I have to question his decision from going for someone who's a ball carrier, like De Jong, someone who's amazing under pressure, someone who likes to play as an 8 or a 6 and go deep and bring the ball up and progress it up the pitch, to a player that the first thing he does when he gets the ball is run, head down, taking a shot, making a bad pass, and he just passes sideways. They're absolutely different profiles of players, and I can't look at that and be like, you know what, I trust what Ten Hag is doing. For the price he's for as well, it's just insane. I would spend 70 million. I don't think he's 70 million. I think it'll be less, but I don't think I should spend that much money on a player like him. It's just like absolutely disastrous for me.
And you know what? I don't want to spend any more time on the Mason Mount thing. I think everyone touched on it, but I just want to touch on your club captain, Debs. Your club captain is on his way out, and he's not headed to Arsenal. As everyone knew, he's going to Barcelona. No surprise. No surprise. I never expected him to go anywhere else.
It's not confirmed yet, is it? It's not confirmed yet, is it?
It's not confirmed, but they're saying after the Champions League final is most likely going to be.
Yeah, do you know what? Right. So I'll be real with you. With him and Bernardo Silva, there's an element of City's fans that are saying they're not going. For me, when Man City make a decision of what length contract they want to give someone, they generally don't change it. We've seen it with so many players. Yeah. Fernandinho, Aguero, all of them. Once a decision is made, it's made for the right reason. It's not made overnight. We don't do things reactionary. So we have said we'll give you a year extension. I said at the start of this season when they made him captain, do you know what? What they're trying to do is keep it rolling like they did with Fernandinho until it gets to a point where, because that's the way City do, it works. If I always say this, if you can tell me, because people say, oh, we get rid of players too soon, we must keep Gündoğan. The fact is, the same people that told us that probably told us we got rid of Yaya at the wrong time, got rid of David Silva at the wrong time, got rid of Vinny at the wrong time. None of them have gone on and done more than what they did at our club. So with Gündoğan, I was prepared to see him go this summer. The way he's ended the season, and do you know what? With him and Bernardo, it is a bit of a swan song that they've done everything they can in the Premier League. Yeah, they've done everything. Bernardo has not been captain, but Gündoğan has been. Gündoğan this season captain. Last season scored the winners against Villa. Season before was our top goal scorer. Played in the false nine. The guy's done everything he can except for the Champions League.
What do you think about his replacement?
Well, so hold on. So before we put this man up, I've got this. It looks like we're going to get Kovacic, but I don't think Kovacic is necessarily a Gündoğan replacement. Right?
What do you think he is?
I think because I've just told you that I think
similar at all.
Barca also want Bernardo Silva, and Kovacic is a bit more like a Bernardo Silva than a Gündoğan. Right now,
really.
In my opinion, they're both 8s, so they're both similar. But for me, Bernardo's more of a ball carrier, and Gündoğan is more of a knows how to hit the box at the right time, and also can kind of control the game, good in transitions. Whereas Bernardo is very much a ball carrier. Now, we were just talking about De Jong, right? Now, Barcelona want Cancelo, apparently. They want Bernardo Silva.
No,
apparently.
don't say that. I know.
They want
not saying
Laporte,
that.
apparently.
No.
Now, listen, we could kill 2 birds with 1 stone, right? Kovacic, by the way, on the Kovacic side, I'm happy with that. For me, when he's fit, and that's my only concern, is fitness.
He's injured, yeah.
But he came alive in the World Cup for his country. So I don't know if this season Kovacic a bit signed out at Chelsea, to be frank with you. I feel like he signed out because he seemed very keen.
He's a great footballer.
But
I'm not gonna lie, he'd be brilliant.
If we could do a deal with, because we know Barcelona haven't got loads of money. They want multiple of our players. If we could do a deal and get De Jong, yeah, because De Jong would be the perfect Gündoğan replacement for me. The perfect Gündoğan replacement. And also, listen, you just heard these guys talk about him. Cass has been, for the last year, waxing lyrical about De Jong coming soon. De Jong coming soon. I wake him up sometimes. When's De Jong arriving, right? I would love us to get De Jong just to rub it in their faces that little bit more as well. But we'll see, innit? We'll see. But I think Gündoğan will go. I still would be surprised if Bernardo Silva doesn't go, because he's wanted to go for 2 summers now. And I said in January, someone at the club, when we got rid of Cancelo, someone should have gone to Bernardo and said, look, yeah, we understand. Your missus wants to be back your side of the world. We get it. Give us another 5 months of the best prime Bernardo Silva and we'll let you go for 30 million. We won't hold out for the money that we wanted. We'll let you go for, and I'll drive him to the airport. Like, if they win that Champions League, yeah, I'll drive him to the airport. I've said this. If we win the Champions League and any players want to leave, if Pep wants to leave, Pep's already told us he isn't, I'll drive him to the airport. If they give us those big ears, because we know we're going to recruit again anyway. So, but yeah, I'm happy with Kovacic.
Listen, if De Jong goes to Man City, we might as well just shut this league down.
Bro.
Shut that league down. Because
I'm surprised
it
wasn't linked more last season, because for me,
he's perfect for you.
He's the perfect player for us, and it just surprises me a little bit, and especially with the fact that Barca keeps sniffing around our players. If I was sitting sporting directors, I'd be going, I tell you what, we know you can't afford to buy Laporte, Cancelo, and Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, you're getting Kimmich as well, man.
I don't think we'll get Kimmich.
Is Laporte leaving this for free, or is he being sold?
No, Kimmich is going to Barcelona.
Kimmich is too similar to Rodri. We couldn't do that. It'd be too.
How Barca got so much money? They're trying to get Messi as well.
They might be kicked out of Europe as well.
Honestly, they want Messi to come on a 1-year freebie.
Yeah,
he is for free though, bro. He's not under contract with PSG.
No, but they want him.
They want him to not have a wage.
They want him to basically.
That's pathetic, bro.
No, bro, that is. Oh yeah, literally the most sought after player in world football.
They are
you do it
literally
for free.
They're literally begging.
They're saying for the love of the team. Come on.
Yeah, it's literally sentiment, bro.
How much are the Saudis offering him? How much are the Saudis offering him?
1.2 billion, so 600 million a season.
And Barca going, we'll do it for free.
That's insane. It's pathetic, bro. It's actually pathetic.
Enough about the transfers. There's one more thing we need to get through before the video ends, and that is the actual predictions of the game and how you guys think the game is going to go. Because for me, just to give you guys a quick prediction, I really do think this game is going to be a game where it's like Manchester United are going to be very tense. They're going to be very, very under pressure from the beginning, and an early mistake is going to end the game for United, in my opinion. And it's not a thing that I'm like. Honestly, you can try to call me a neutral, but obviously you guys are going to say I'm leaning towards Man City. I really don't have any care who wins this game. I'm more in the middle than ever. Because Manchester City, if they do the treble and they go and win all these trophies, they're one step closer to overtaking us in a trophy hall, and I don't want that.
Oh no, bro! If we win the Champions League, we've overtaken you.
I think if they win the treble, you're done.
Bro,
you go down. They go above you.
You ain't never won one of those. You ain't won those big ears either. We've already reached a lot more final. We've already reached one more final than you now. So you don't want us to win it, bro.
Dabs, you still need to get double-digit league titles, and you're close to doing that. Also, one more thing that you need to do, you need to overtake us in trophies. Right now, you're one step closer to overtaking Chelsea. You're technically 2 trophies away from overtaking.
So if we win the Champions League, yeah, you do realise that's bragging rights over you, yeah?
I understand that.
Yeah,
that's bragging rights.
I'm not gonna lie. If they get the treble, I'm looking at
Arsenal got away with this for way too long, man. Way too long. People turn up at our ground singing about how you're champions of Europe. You'll never sing that. How these men have got away with not being reminded about never winning a Champions League in their 19 years reaching it.
I was at the Emirates when Nottingham Forest were singing that to me. What are you talking about?
Igal, you're gonna hear that from me. You're gonna hear it from Daps. You're gonna hear it from Chelsea fans. Whoever you do, you're gonna hear it from almost everyone.
We don't want to hear none of that.
No, I'm not hoping for it. I'm saying if they do, I don't want it to. I'm just saying if it does,
Wait.
we're gonna all be sitting on one table, and Igal's gonna be at the kids' table.
They're on the McDonald's seats. The kids' McDonald's seats.
This show's not about Arsenal. Remember that. This show is not about Arsenal today. Let's stop deflecting.
All right, so
and can Manchester United stop City from doing the treble? That's what I'm asking.
I'm gonna say a quick say, and I'm gonna leave because there's not much to say about this. Man City are the favorites, yes. Can Man City win tomorrow if they play their game? Yes. Can we win if we play our game? No. We just need a Man City mistake. That's unfortunately that's what it's coming down to. So if we win tomorrow, it means that Man City made a mistake somewhere. That's what it's gonna be. We don't have to make mistakes to concede to them because they're that good. Does that make sense? You know what I'm trying to say here? So if you want a prediction, I'll still say a prediction because I'm going to back my team no matter what. I think it's going to end. I don't know why. I think it's going to be a 2-1. I don't know why. But, you know, realistically, everything is against us, bro.
You can't say penalties because you guys aren't good at penalties.
If it goes to penalties, bro, I'm turning off the TV.
Oh, no. We're also shit at penalties. If it goes to penalties, it's just going to be complete. Actually, do you know what? Man United v Brighton was a lot of very good fucking penalties.
It was, to be fair.
There was no penalty saves for us. That's the thing. Like,
no penalty takers on the pitch as well. It was so weird.
Oh, Man City are bad at penalties. You're right.
No, we're bad at penalties. The difference the only difference we would have going into this game is the goalkeeper. The Ortega is a very good shot stopper.
I was about to ask you if he's good at penalties because for us, I'll be very honest with you. If Big Steve wants to go on the pitch and take a penalty, he'll probably score. That's how bad De Gea is.
Listen, De Gea has saved his last penalty.
He's probably good at football, bro. I don't know.
He's on form.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. He could probably score against De Gea.
I couldn't. But listen, for me, right? Obviously, the game at the start of the season was the game at the start of the season. That was a long time ago. United were, a team growing. I think United fans had got a bit too giddy, a bit too early at that point. Came to the Etihad, and I think, do you know what? I could take something from that I think we shut you up because United fans were getting a bit loud going into that game and a bit overconfident, and City shut you up. Now, that could happen tomorrow because we're a very confident fan base at the moment, right? It is, so it could happen. But I think the difference between us when we played them the second time and us now is summed up in a chant. And I honestly think Pep stumbled across it. I was speaking from the start of the season about how Pep, with the change from a false 9 to an actual number 9, meant that Pep had to try and find a way to get that extra body in midfield, right? And it was by inverting fullbacks. And then all of a sudden, he stumbled across. And I honestly think, what Pep was doing with this inverting and playing them as a central and playing 4 centre-backs, he was doing it to get that extra body in midfield. But by doing it, he's actually made us better defensively. Ederson and Ake, Walker and Akanji, Ruben Diaz, Johnny Stones, best defence in Europe. We're Manchester City on the way to Istanbul. And that's what it is. That is the difference. Man United, when we played them the second time, they could hit us on the counter. This time, when we've got the ball, John Stones and Ake or Akanji are inverting and it's all looking beautiful. But the difference now is when it's time to revert back to a back 4, we no longer have Cancelo, who isn't very good defensively, or respect to Zinchenko. We now have 4 centre-backs. So when we have to invert, we have 4 centre-backs defending. And I think that's going to be the difference. You're not going to be able to hit us on the counter because we're just too good. Real Madrid are unbelievable on the counter. The way they transition and change the game is phenomenal. And we just counted that out. So we turn out and we're the best Man City. I don't think United have got a chance. I won't give a prediction. But,
all that, no prediction.
I can't.
You know what? Can I ask the people in the comment section to give us a prediction then? Since Stabs is not giving predictions. There's a lot of Man City fans in the chat. And
we want your prediction too.
I'm going to give you my prediction also. But I also need you guys to do me a favor. Hit that goddamn like button. I haven't asked you throughout the whole stream.
Slap the flipping like people.
Make sure you hit that like button.
Come on, get the likes up, people. Come on, man.
And don't forget, after the show, Daps is on Never a Foul. He's going to be doing a stream. So you're going to
it's a call-in show as well, people. So anyone head over there. The link will be in the description. So call in, join myself and Mo. And we're going to talk about everything. Not just, I don't really want to talk about the FA Cup too much. I want to talk about transfers and whatever.
Yeah, man. There's
I
a
want
lot
to talk about Declan Rice to Bayern.
Declan Rice is not going nowhere.
He's nowhere, literally. Oh, he's staying at West Ham, is he?
He's staying in the Premier League. He's staying in the Premier League. Like, that's
he's going to join Mason Mount on Old Trafford.
Don't rule out either. He's got options.
I am telling you guys right now, Declan Rice is going to be an Arsenal player. I am so confident. I wanted to put Declan Rice on the back of my kit, but I knew the amount of red.
Would you shave? Yeah, would you go bold with Hossam if he's in the company?
Bro, I'm not an ITK. I don't have information to go.
Listen, there was a picture of Shaw, Mount, and Declan Rice on vacation together at some beach. So we got two. There's only one left. If you tell me you got to take Mount if you want Rice, that's the only way I'm taking.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I'll take that for the bigger picture.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I think we'll know more after the Conference League final. I think Arsenal's gonna come in with a massive bid. If Manchester United match it or they go crazy, Arsenal's not known for getting their first target, so we'll wait and see.
Ilkay, you think you can outmatch Man United and Bayern coming for one of the players that you're
First
trying
of
to
all, Bayern, don't even bring those talks.
Bayern not gonna pay that kind of
I'm not bringing it. I'm telling you what I saw.
He's not leaving the Premier League. Guys, let's be honest. He's not leaving the Premier League. The guy has made it clear he's not leaving the Premier League. And I think he's going to take it one further.
Yeah, I thought we're not talking about Arsenal again.
We're talking about Man United and the fact that Declan Rice might go there.
I'm messing.
It is relevant, but let's keep it moving.
Listen. Just let me just quickly my prediction.
Everyone's saying hockey scores.
40 City.
3-0. My guy Kabuti with the big super chat. Big up to you, my guy. He's saying switch to three at the back. Stones, Rodri sitting in front of them. What?
He stumbled in.
The switch to the back three with Stones and Rodri sitting in front of them. He stumbled into it, as Daps says, impenetrable City win 4-1.
He's basically saying like Pep stumbled into that formation, like that setup. He didn't really mean.
I really do think what changed everything was that injury to Laporte. Was it an injury to Laporte? If I'm not sure.
The start of the season, we had no one ever spoke about this, but the start of the season, you got to remember, we had Walker injured, we had Diaz injured, we had Ake injured for a period, we had Laporte injured and Stones injured. Yeah. Do you know what? Laporte's a really hard one because I think Laporte is for me is definitely in our top three centre backs. Definitely. Like if we're doing it on paper, Ake and Akanji, you'd be putting fourth and fifth. I just always think that there's been this thing with Laporte that look, we saw when Diaz arrived, everyone thought it was going to be a Diaz and Laporte partnership, and John Stones was being rumoured to be linked out. And John Stones says, "No, I want to stay and fight for my place." Right, which firstly gets the fans loving you even more because that's all we ever want to hear is that a player wants to stay and fight for their place. But at that point, whenever I've seen Laporte and Diaz, I just haven't felt it's looked as smooth because I feel like all the other centre-backs at City are willing to have Diaz, who's probably the youngest, tell them where to be, right? And tell them what their role is. And I think with Laporte being a senior, you know, when he joined us, there was rumours he might get the armband off of Vinny and that. I think maybe he and look, we know with Laporte, I said at the start of this season, if Laporte is not a starter, yeah, he will leave. When he didn't get in France's national team, he went and played for Spain. So if he's going to do that to his own country, if he's not starting for City and Barcelona want him, he's gone. Like we can't, and it's sad because I'm a big Laporte fan, but I think it's got to a point this season where we were seeing youngers start and whatever, and Laporte still wasn't starting. So Laporte is going, which is a shame, but you know he's got what he's going to be leaving with. I think 5 Premier League medals, which is mad. So
let's go to my guy Staffy. What are you saying, bro? Because I know you. I'm gonna give you guys my prediction quite quickly. I'm just gonna stay. It's gonna be a tight game, but Manchester United is gonna concede early, and they're gonna have to go for it. They get a goal back, and then Man City somehow at the end just death knell after all the hard work that you guys did to get back into the game. You guys concede on the counter immediately after. I think it's going to be a game where
we're going to concede on the counter.
I think you guys are going to do well to stay in the game. I think you guys are going to do well staying in the game after conceding an early goal. But it's going to be a situation where Manchester City are going to be relentless and they're going to end up getting you at the end.
Fair
I would
enough.
believe it if you said it the other way around, because we can hit them on the counter. I don't know in what point of the game are we going to be controlling the game for them to hit us in the game.
I didn't mean it like that. I meant they're gonna get you in the end, not.
No, but the scenario itself, I don't expect it. I mean, I already gave my prediction. I said 2-1, but I don't see that happening at all. If we concede early, listen, I think me, Usman, and Debs, we all already told you if we concede early, pretty much the game's over, because that's when the floodgates might open.
Is that a mental?
Have you seen us away from home this season? Every time we concede early, it's over. And yeah, this is a neutral game, so we're in Wembley. We're not in the Etihad, but still, like, I feel like we usually need our fans behind us to like somehow make a comeback. We've done some decent comebacks this season.
Oh,
one of them was in
Old
the last
Trafford's
game.
Become a fortress again this season.
Yeah,
Old Trafford has become a
and
fortress.
unfortunately, it's not in Old Trafford, so I don't see the scenario happening at all. If they score early, bro, I'm sorry to tell you, as much as you have faith in us, we're not answering them. It's gonna be 3 or 4 if that happens. I hope I'm wrong though.
Wow, Staffy, come on, man! It's the bloody derby, bro.
I already said 2-1, bro. I'm talking about his scenario. His scenario is not gonna happen. Right. No, but my prediction is still for us to win 2-1.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I'm still back my team, bro.
It's done, you know. Still. Now, but listen. To be fair, I do hear what you said. Now, listen. None of you noticed this, but I deliberately chose this Man United kit, obviously repping Man United, but also Inter Milan. You know what's going to happen. Manchester United are going to deliver the first knockout blow, and Inter Milan are going to seal the deal in Istanbul.
Do you really believe that, though?
Oh, listen, Dubs, don't worry. This is a leveler. It's a final. Dubs, I know you well. You're confident, but deep down, you're thinking, you know what, these pricks, Man United, they just find a way of somehow jamming a win against us like we did at Old Trafford. We got lucky. We're going to need a lot of luck tomorrow. There's no denying that. We're going to sit back and we're going to shit house a win the same way Arsenal did when they won the FA Cup under Arteta. We're going to shit house it. It's going to be disgusting. No one's going to rate us. Everyone's going to say Man United got lucky, and I could not give a shit.
As you shouldn't. I
couldn't care. I couldn't care less how we score. I want to see Fred kicking players. I want to see bloody Casemiro elbowing players. I want to see Bruno crying every single opportunity he's got. I want to see Rashford diving, asking for free kicks. Sancho doing a madness. To be fair, Sancho doesn't really do the madness, but every single player, dog arts, Jose Mourinho settings, the way man was at the car park and all that. The rest of that, I need to see shithouse. Obviously, I don't agree with the abuse, of course, just getting that out there. But I need to see Man United, dark art specialist, Casemiro, rolling it back, Varane. These ones have got 10 Champions Leagues amongst them. I need to see all of their experience in this game because Man City are going to play us off the park. I think everybody knows that. I mean, we're not going to go toe-to-toe against Man City. They're the best team in the world as it currently stands, and rightfully so. You know, they're in the final of the Champions League, and they're beating the best to get there. So, listen, they're a far superior team than us. We just got to expose them on the break. Listen, it doesn't matter who you are. Marcus Rashford, with his pace, can get him behind anybody. It only takes one ball, and Rashford's in. Park the bus, Jose style, shithouse the victory. I actually said 2-1 initially, but no, I'm actually going to just go with it and say 1-0 Man United. Fully shithouse. Man City will outplay us. They're going to sustain attacks. It's going to be backs against the wall. Maguire's going to come on last 10 minutes, so we're going to hold it down. Listen, I don't believe
that is the
we're going to hold it down, Maguire. You're clearing it. These Man City are going to be lumping balls into the box. But listen, I need to see Fred kicking at least 3 City players within the first 30 seconds. If he does that, then Man United will win the game. If he doesn't that from the get-go, then it's going to be long.
That's a very good point. Steve said this yesterday.
Kicking players, kick them constantly, especially Grealish. I can't stand it.
Steve said this yesterday. Steve said this yesterday that if he was Man United, then in the opening 5 minutes,
kick them all.
Be in the ear of City players going, I'm going to kick you. I'm going to get you injured literally telling City players in their ear, you got the Champions League next week. I'm going to get you injured. I'm going to kick you. Like, and make City players weary that, I don't want to miss the Champions League final. But listen, the one player you don't want to kick is Jack Grealish, right? Because
he plays well against Man United. I'm worried about him. He's my biggest worry.
Listen, he knows how to get fouls in very bad places. Yeah, and when you got De Bruyne on the pitch, Gündoğan on the pitch, potentially Mahrez on the pitch, you don't want to be. But this is the thing now with Grealish. Last season, Grealish, at times I felt like he was playing for a foul, right? And he was getting them. This season, Grealish isn't playing for a foul because Grealish knows if I stay on my feet, I'm causing you more damage. And I think the big battle, we all talk about Casemiro tomorrow and what he does. The other big battle is Wan-Bissaka and Grealish.
Definitely.
And if you have to double up on Grealish, or if Wan-Bissaka can deal with him by himself. But it's going to be a good go. Look, I am being honest. I'm nervous. I'm nervous going into it now. It's a derby. The nerves are here now fully.
What are you scared of the most? By the way, everyone in the comment section, big up to everyone. Remember, make sure you do hit that goddamn like button. Dabs, you're going to be starting your video in like 10 minutes. So we're going to try to wrap
I'm
up
here
here.
too.
The last 5 minutes or something, I'm going to just do membership only. If you guys want to become members, it's £1. So do check it out. And also, Staffy, what's your this is more of a basketball thing, but what's your like most
matchup I'm looking for?
Yeah, like what's your X factor? What's your thing that you're worried about the most?
The thing I'm worried about the most. So, like, am I worrying about a City player? Is that what you're saying, or one of my players?
It could be a player on your end. It could be a positive thing on their end. Whatever.
I'm confident. I'm confident of Wan-Bissaka on Grealish. He does very well on whoever. I've rarely ever seen this guy get beat by someone one-on-one, and Grealish doesn't really even have that pace on him. So I think that's a matchup I'm confident in.
Oh, you didn't see Foden cook him a few years back?
It was that one shoulder check, but it is what it is. I've seen him lock up Sterling, and that game.
Sterling been locked up by everyone. Don't worry about Sterling.
Nah, he's locked up in Mbappe, man. Why did you say Sterling, bro?
Yo, guys, guess who showed up?
Nah, don't tell me Hamza's on.
Hey,
Well, at that point, do you know what? Let me salute him. Let me salute him. Tag him in, and then I'll dip off to Never a Foul. People, if you stay on this show at the end of this show, so stay on this show till the end of this show. Don't be finishing this. I'm gonna dip now. Hamza's gonna come in and he's gonna give you a monologue. But when this show ends,
this
it
is
will take
why
you straight over to Never a Foul.
Presented Pep with the award of the night.
Listen, Ilkay, it's been a pleasure. Usman, it's been great to do a show with you. We hadn't done any this season, so and you're looking good, and salute on all the work.
Appreciate
it. And Man United fan Staffy, yeah, Staffy. There's your name.
There we go. There we go.
Salute and keep up the great work as well. Now bring in my brother, and I'll see you in Istanbul, Hamza.
Quick substitution. Hamza ain't going to Istanbul. He's an Arsenal fan.
He is going. He's going.
What the hell happened to my camera?
Yo,
bro?
Hamza actually dropped out. I don't know what the hell happened.
Oh, he's bottled it. That's the sign. He's bottled it, guys. Man United already.
Hamza, if you're watching this, you bottled the stream, bro.
This is tomorrow.
Listen, what you saying? What's your X factor? Because for me, the X factor for me is if you guys can find a way to get an early lead that's massive, like a 2-goal lead, I think you guys could hold it out. But if it's a 1-goal lead, you're just tempting fate.
Yeah, I'm gonna say sorry, Staffy. I'm gonna say Bruno Fernandes. You know, I mean, I think the Rashford is probably the obvious answer, realistically speaking, from a United perspective, or maybe Casemiro, depending on how you plays. But I think Bruno Fernandes. The reason being is because he's the guy that essentially dictates how Manchester United play week in, week out. If Bruno's on song and he actually turns up and plays well, might not look like a good team. I mean, I've criticized this guy no end. Like I've said already, his ball retention for me is not good enough personally. In a game against City where we're not going to have a lot of the ball, he needs to be clinical when he gets the ball, i.e. his passing needs to be on point. Okay, granted, he hasn't got a great track record of doing that, but if he can get a couple of decent balls in behind, which he has done in some of the bigger games this season as well, at home in particular, he can unlock that defense. I mean, look, as Daps rightfully said, the City defense definitely looks more vigilant. It looks a lot better, more stable, etc. But it just takes one ball from Bruno Fernandes in behind for Rashford. And I think Bruno in general, he needs to not let his head go as well. I mean, I know rival fans can't stand him for obvious reasons. I mean, he does this thing when Man United losing in particular, when he starts, I don't want to cuss, but he starts crying, essentially, moaning. And it just, look, at the end of the day, the captain has to do that. You need to be in the referees. Yeah, I get that. But sometimes when he's constantly moaning, I can imagine as a player, you're thinking, bro, just get on with it. Like, especially when you're losing a game, you know, Man City are going to keep the ball. We're going to get extremely frustrated. And we need him to keep his head in those moments because it does transcend throughout the team. So I think Bruno is the key for us to win this game if we are going to win it. So I'm going to say Bruno Fernandes.
Fair enough. We're gonna have to wrap it up there, guys. Big up everyone for jumping on. Hamza absolutely bottled it. The guy told me, don't worry, I'm gonna finish work. I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna have all the paperwork sorted. Last minute, he's doing another extra hour of work. It's crazy. But yo, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up here.
Miguel, before you go, for people who listen, if you're up at midnight and you can't sleep because you're thinking of the FA Cup final tomorrow and you're stressing, I'm gonna be on Hassam's channel. I don't know what we're gonna be talking about, but I'm gonna be on Hassam's channel. I think it's gonna be me, him, Flawless, and I think Carefree Lewis is coming up. So we're gonna be talking a lot about the. Yeah, I think that's what he said. That what Hassam said. But yeah, so if you're up at night and you can't find no sleep, you know where to find us.
You're talking about Mason Mount, you know that.
Bro, you know what he messaged me? Igal, I'm not even joking. He messaged me. He goes, Mustafa Habibi, Mason Mount, 12 a.m. ? And I'm like, why would I want to do that? Who starts a message by saying Mason Mount? I was like, no, of course I don't want to do that. But no, I'll be on his channel today.
Where's Hamza? Hamza's at work somewhere in London, guys.
Hamza's bottled it, bro. Don't worry about it.
I hope his team bottles it tomorrow like he did today.
Oh, if they do, you guys stop the treble. And you win 2 trophies in Ten Hag's first season. I think if you guys can win this FA Cup final, it's probably your best win post Fergie.
Yeah,
no, it wouldn't be better than the Mourinho season.
No, this is better, bro, man.
By far.
Listen,
really? You think so?
Because you're beating Man City in the final, bro, to stop them from winning the treble as well. Come on, man.
Yeah, in terms of stopping the treble, that I get.
It's a big moment as well. Like, obviously, like Ten Hag.
Yeah, I get it.
We won
I
the
guess I
League
can
Cup
see that.
and the Europa League that year.
Yeah,
that year we won the Europa League, the League Cup.
Yeah, that was
the Community Shield in the beginning of the season.
Don't say Community Shield, bro. Come on,
well, but you still won it.
We're gonna win it next year. We won't even have to.
Hassam calls it the biryani plate, and I don't mind biryani. I'm about to go get some Indian food right now.
You guys have yourself a good one. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you want me to do more streams like this next year, let me know, because I haven't really been doing too many preview shows on other people's teams. Maybe I should do that more often. This was quite fun, don't you guys think?
Yeah, I think it was fun for you that you don't get to talk about Arsenal for once, even though we snuck them in a couple times.
Hey,
so big up.
Honest truth. Anyways, let's get the show going. You guys have a good one. I'm out of here, people. Peace. Love for the love, people.